Welcome to part 4 of our Azamara Pursuit Cruise Diaries. Now, the concept of destination immersion can't always be an easy one to pull off, and today is one such challenge for the captain and his bridge crew. How do you get a 30,000-ton vessel down a narrow river estuary, through a thick soup of leisure boats, and literally right into the middle of a small Cornish town? Well, today was how. Fowey, a tiny town at the mouth of the River Fowey, is home to just over 2,300 people, but its history goes back to biblical times. In fact, popular legend has it that Jesus Christ visited there as a child with his uncle, Joseph of Arimathea, who was a tin merchant. Of course, Fowey has a much more varied and interesting history than a fairly well-touted legend about the Son of God. But there are stories aplenty in the little lanes, hilly paths and ancient castles, and the whole town oozes quaintness and charm. And rather more recently, one of my favourite novelists, Daphne du Maurier, lived here, and her love for Cornwall is evident in many of her most famous novels. The rather striking crow statue commemorates her time here. If you must read 2 novels on a cruise, I can heartily recommend Jamaica Inn and Rebecca, both set in Cornwall. And perfect if you're visiting Fowey. I'm back on board after the shortest tender ride we've ever experienced. Honestly, they could have put a zip wire from the top of the ship to the shore, which would have been rather fun and a lot quicker. We headed to the Windows Cafe for lunch. In keeping with most ships these days, the lunches here are themed daily. Today it was German, and you know what I think of that particular cuisine by watching another video on our channel. But, as with the incredible breakfast Azamara lay on, lunch was by no means any less abundant. I settled for some characteristically un-German sushi, and as ice cream seems to be my dietary Achilles heel, a good dollop of the creamy cold stuff. After all those unnecessary calories spiking our blood sugar, it was time to explore the wellness areas of the ship. After all, wellness and vigour is the 4th of 4 pillars upon which CEO Larry Pimentel has built Azamara Club Cruises' destination immersion mantra. So, it should be pretty prominent, right? Yes, you'd be right. The spa and fitness areas of the ship are larger than normal for a size of vessel like this. Being a bit of a fitness fan, I found the gym to be more than adequate for my daily struggle against the cruise industry's obsession with expanding our waists. Unfortunately, we didn't have time on this voyage to try out the spa areas or the thalassotherapy pool out the front of the ship. That'll be something to look forward to in the future, no doubt. The upper pool deck doubles as a jogging track, so armed with a time-lapse camera and a steady hand, we gave the track a good testing and concluded that 1 mile leaves you with a few less calories in your system, if also a little dizzy. There's nothing more satisfying to combat the growing sadness of your final evening on board than 2 things that go hand in hand on a cruise. A beautiful sail away followed by a really nice meal. And we certainly left the best till last for both of these. Hats off to the captain and the bridge crew once more as they carefully negotiated the narrowest of passages from Fowey through to the open water. We needed help from a monstrous tug that tethered itself to us and made sure we stayed rock steady as we pulled up our anchors, let go of our lines and tiptoed through the clutter of tiny boats. It was an incredible and exhilarating experience. Fowey really needs to be seen in all its delight from the water. A quintessentially English fishing village that has been thoughtfully preserved for us lucky few to view it from such a wonderful angle. Thanks, Azamara. How could we top that? Well, a speciality restaurant would help, and Aqualina just so happened to be that. Aqualina is Azamara's Italian-themed restaurant, and like Prime Sea, it attracts a small cover charge, but as we've found in the vast majority of cases, the cover charge is more than justified for the dining experience you receive. Take a look at the food we were presented with, and I'm sure you will agree. So, as we draw to a close this short but very sweet voyage, I suppose we need to wrap it up with some words of wisdom and summarise our thoughts. Firstly, does Azamara Club Cruises feel like a club? Yes, in many ways it does. You feel like you belong, and that's in no small thanks to the absolutely fantastic staff on board that make you feel like you're at home. Although we don't have actually any staff at home, you understand. Does it immerse you in the destinations? Well, only being on here for 4 days, we've been to some pretty challenging places that would be impossible for most ships, so yes, I'd say they go the extra mile in taking you to these more interesting places that you may not have thought about before, but we're glad you experienced. I could go on all day, so please, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. As a bonus, we'll leave you with a lovely little retrospective of the official naming ceremony that took place the day we disembarked in Southampton. I've broken my own rule on this one of not ever having anyone else's footage but my own because Azamara politely requested that there was no videoing of the ceremony, so I've had to use in places parts of Azamara's own live feed. And nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed this trip with us, and we hope to bring you more destination immersion with Azamara in the future. And if you've enjoyed this series, as a way of throwing a coin into the old hat, please give us a like and press that little subscribe button. Thank you very much.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this as our first guest on board Azamara Pursuit. Azamara Pursuit is everything that we imagined and more. A beautiful new ship, and I think very importantly with a fitting name. The ship represents the pursuit in discovering the world and its unparalleled destinations.
Let me tell you a bit more about our guest. They appreciate the gift of travel. They comprehend it and its power. They are cultural connoisseurs. They love being enriched and digging deeper by understanding through human connection. They love experiences. They focus on the authentic, on things that are local, on things that are enticing and personally enrich them. They have an explorer state of mind. And Azamara is a brand with a purpose that fits their exact desire.
We name this ship Azamara Pursuit. May God bless her and all who sail on her.